For this animal watercolor or beyond the border watercolor, you're going to start by getting a rectangle sketched out very lightly in pencil on the inside of your 11 by 14 paper. I have about a 2.5-inch border all the way around, and then I'm drawing my animal to extend at least on 3 sides and drawing in my background scene. The background scene needs to be somewhat inside of the inner rectangle and also on the outside of the rectangle. What is going to receive watercolor is the entire animal. The animal that crosses over that inner rectangle, it's going to get watercolor, and you're going to practice different techniques and get a chance to experiment with that before starting your final draft. You can use really realistic watercolor colors, or you can use a little bit exaggerated. You can try to create different textures with your watercolor and explore mixing colors directly on the paper or on the lid. You're going to do a layering process. You can paint with a wetter brush or a drier brush, all different ways to paint with this medium. The other area that is going to receive watercolor is the background that is on the inside of the penciled in rectangle. So here where my seaweed is crossing over that border, where the coral is crossing over that inner border, it is going to receive some watercolor, as well as my entire background, the space inside the rectangle, behind the animal, mixing out and painting all of that as well. Watercolor sometimes takes some drying. You don't want to ever paint 2 wet areas next to each other, or they'll be together. So you do have to be patient, let areas dry before you work next to another area. So when you are 100% done painting, there's no areas to get touched up or add another layer, add any splatter onto, then you are going to start the pen process. What is going to receive pen is the outside, that white space, that border. Going to get some pen textures. You want to apply your textures of your background, and I could use hatching, cross-hatching, scumbling, stippling, wavy lines, straight lines, lines with rulers, lines are a little bit shaky. And it is optional to pen the inside of my border as well. I could go ahead and add textures into my animal shape and into what is on the inside of that inner rectangle. I personally like it to kind of clean up my lines, add some more textures, and make a cohesive work on both the outer and inner rectangle.